Talk about the vote we expect, if you would, about the vote we expect in the House to create a select committee to investigate further the raid in Benghazi. Is that likely to yield conclusions, new information of value from your vantage point?
So first of all, whenever we talk about the situation, we have to remember what a terrible tragedy this was. We lost 4 Americans, and we're obviously all still mourning them, and everyone wants answers as to what happened and why we were so vulnerable, which I think is an incredibly productive and constructive conversation for us to be having. We also ought to be having a larger conversation about what's actually going on in the ground in Libya. We're up to now our 6th prime minister since the left power, and it's not clear what's really even happening in that country. So there's a lot of important conversations to have around Libya. There's been a lot of debate and discussion and investigation and inquiry to the specific circumstances around the Benghazi tragedy and the communication that came out of the White House, which has been the focus of a lot of attention, particularly among my Republican colleagues. We've had 2 Senate investigations in committees. We've had at least 4 in the House. We've had 25,000 pages of reports prepared looking at what happened that evening, when the White House was reporting the facts. And my sense is that this new committee, this select committee that's been appointed, it's going to focus on that issue. And, I haven't seen what the committee is. I mean, if it's a very bipartisan committee, if it's done the right way, like the House Ethics Committee, for example, which is completely bipartisan and all information has to be shared in a bipartisan way, that's one question, and there might be a productive use of another committee because this was such a significant tragedy. Some would say we should keep looking at it. If it's just another partisan committee, designed to try to make the administration look bad, I think that's a waste of time and resources.
I have to go to break in about a minute. Do you think there is a zeal to mine this issue for potential political gain?
Of course there is. I mean, as I said, there's a lot of important discussions to have around the Benghazi tragedy. One important discussion was to figure out what happened, and I think we've done that, in my opinion, to a pretty high standard. The second conversation is around how do we improve safety out of our embassies, right? And the third conversation is around actually what's going on the ground in Libya. Those are really important conversations to have. Continuing to focus on the talking points that came out of the White House that evening just doesn't appear to me to be the most important thing for us to be talking about around the Benghazi tragedy. And so I have to conclude it's being done for political reasons, and it's pretty obvious it's being done for political reasons. I think the Speaker is doing it to satisfy part of his caucus that has been very difficult to deal with and is kind of, has a singular focus on making the president look bad. And unfortunately, I think, that bakes into this too. And I think, listen, we have a lot of important things to deal with in Congress. I'm not sure another select committee on the communication from that one evening is really the best use of our time. It's not even the best use of our time around Libya or Benghazi, let alone around the larger agenda we have.
Talking with Maryland Congressman John Delaney. We'll take a break here. Back, though, with more News Talk right after this.